Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the gymnasium here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call right as we get started with Scarlet Hawks varsity boys volleyball coverage for this evening. Tonight, the Scarlet Hawks welcoming in a rival from out towards the Boston way in the Newton South Lions. It's the Lions grabbing the opening point of this matchup as varsity action gets underway about 30 minutes past the officially scheduled start time for this match. But of course, as we've all come to know, the varsity start times for volleyball can be pretty fluid, with the sub-varsity games happening prior to. Victories for both of Milford's sub-varsity teams in the matches that wrapped up about 20 minutes or so ago, and so the varsity squad now hoping to make it a clean sweep, as Milford has notched double digits in wins in this regular season. They come into the matchup tonight at 10-4. Newton South, meanwhile, comes in 2 games under 500. They're 5-7 overall on the season. They are currently in 5th place in the Dual Valley League standings. Dual County League standings, excuse me. As Milford grabs an early 3-1 advantage. Milford, of course, as we mentioned in our first coverage of the boys volleyball team this season, playing an independent schedule this year, so no official league standings, so to speak, but playing well overall on the year, with that serve drifting out of play. And so just a 1-point edge here for the Scarlet Hawks after the first flurry of points. And now behind the service line for the Lions is Zachary Weiss. That serve dug out by Milford's Alex Guerra, who then immediately gets a chance on the far side for the return and sends it down with authority for the kill. And Milford will take a 4-2 lead. We last had a chance to cover this team just about a month ago in what was an adventurous 3-1 victory in their matchup against Cambridge Ringen Latin. Here, a little bit of a scramble. Guerra with his back to the net, able to rainbow that ball back across. And now Newton South sets it up for a return down the line on the far side. They get the kill. Looked like Ashish Ullman was involved with that kill for Newton South. So back down to a 1-point differential, as again Milford sets it up for Guerra, who seems to have a little bit of extra oomph on these returns in the early going, and he is all business as he steps behind the service line. Ready to unleash a serve with Milford on top 5-3 here in the early portion of this first set. Rangy play for the libero Russell Lee over on the Newton South side, but ultimately that shot drops down inside of the back line for another Milford point. A 3-point edge here for the Hawks. Milford with a lot of games here at home towards the later part of this regular season, after a lot of the early going of their schedule was away from their home gym. That return is out. Sam Welsh, a senior, in on the play there for the Lions, and the service game continues here for Alex Guerra. Quick conference for the officiating crew meanwhile, and that's going to change the call ultimately. The official down by the scores table conferred and changed the call to a point for the Lions, so that swings it from a 7-3 score to a 6-4 margin. And now the serve is on the Newton South side for Welsh. Ball ticking off the hands of Jimmy Ayala, playing libero for Milford this evening. And now a hard return. Owen Callahan could not save that ball from going out of play. down to a single-point differential. Another serve here for Sam Welsh. Give it back for Arthur Gomes. And ultimately, too many touches for Milford, so a little bit of a mini run to start for Milford, but answered back now by Newton South. And now a hard return on the near side, executed to perfection for Joey Newman. Newman collects the kill, puts Milford back on top, and Newman now will serve. That serve had plenty on it. Chance perhaps to go long, but an aggressive play for Russell Lee on the Newton South side, and ultimately it goes as a point in the column for the Lions. Russell Lee serving now for Newton South, with this first set knotted up at 7. But that return from Isaac Chan goes long over towards the Milford bench area. Happy to have everyone tuned in for this coverage here this evening. Bringing you this coverage streaming live on our YouTube page at youtube.com/MyMilfordTV, and happy to report that we're able to get this game up and running live on our educational and high definition channels as well. So if you happen to be tuned in on the channels tonight, happy to bring you some live Milford High School athletics coverage. We'll try to get that mixed in a little bit more if the technology allows. A lot of live coverage coming up in the days ahead here on Milford TV in a variety of formats. Milford's town meeting on the horizon, a lot of end-of-the-year school events, graduation ceremonies, and we'll have all of that live for you on Milford TV. But meanwhile, the focus here on the volleyball court, where Newton South is giving Milford a battle here in the first set, as they have now been able to eke out a 10-8 lead. Here's Gomes now on the far side. He gets a deflection off the front row, and that will swing a little momentum back Milford's way. Gomes has not been donning the libero jersey in the games that we have covered this season. That was the typical position that we saw him play more often than not during his freshman and sophomore seasons, but stepping away from the defensive specialist role with this new look roster for Milford this season. Back to Guerra now, this time Newton South able to get the block. Milford with some quick hands to keep play alive. And now it's Newton South with the scramble off the net. Set up again for Guerra, and this time he's able to get it past the reach of Russell Lee. And a lot of these returns for Guerra have been with pinpoint accuracy here in the first set. Really done a nice job of putting that ball where Russell could not get to it, dropping it well inside the near sideline. And so Milford able to swing the lead back onto their side. 4 straight points for the Hawks. Make it 13-10 now. Gomes serving. A light crowd here in the Milford gym to get started. We'll see if we get some more spectators filtering in here as the match goes along. Both teams go up at the net. That ball drops down for another Milford point. Scarlet Hawks in their best stretch of the set so far as they extend out a 4-point lead. what was moments ago a 2-point deficit. All of this on the serve of Arthur Gomes. We've seen Gomes as a really steady service option for Milford this season. Think back to that last game that we covered against Cambridge Ringe and Latin, where Arthur Gomes helped to ignite a dramatic come from behind victory in the second set, where Milford fought off, I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 set points in order to bring that score level and ultimately win the second set. In a match they go on to win 3-1. If you did not catch that one, I highly suggest checking it out. It is available replaying currently on our educational channel and HD channel. A couple of air times a week. We also have it available for streaming anytime on YouTube. There's Guerra again. He drops that one down for a kill to give Milford a 16-12 lead. So right back up to that 4-point margin. Ayala serving again. Newton South trying to change up the timing on Milford, but they were ready. Now the setup for Guerra. And play whistled to a halt. Violation on the Newton South side to give Milford a point. The serves keep coming here for Milford. Callahan now setting it up yet again for Alex Guerra, who continues to pick on Russell Lee. Drove Lee into the ground with that return. Gets right back to his feet as Milford assumes an 18-12 lead. Newton South trying to keep the rotation straight. Lions are head coached by Lucas Coffin. A double hit called for on the Milford side to negate another opportunity for Alex Guerra. So instead the serve goes back over to the Newton South side for Zachary Weiss, with the Lions trailing 18-13 and could not get that serve in bounds. Callahan now waiting to release a serve, with Milford all of a sudden 6 points away from an opening set win, and you can make it 5 as Guerra gets another deflection. Another serve for Callahan. Set up towards the near side for Welsh. Point for the Hawks. Nicely blocked over the middle by Newman. Teams up with Guerra. This ball gets across. Does it stay in? No, out along that far sideline. Another deflection comes down on the Newton South side, and Milford is 2 points away, cruising here in the opening set Callahan all business. This is a good strong serve met by Isaac Chan. Delivered back across by Chan. And now Callahan will set it up for Guerra. This is about as sharp as we have seen Alex. Milford really executing well in this opening set. A series of set points now, as that time Callahan a little off target on the serve, delivers it into the net, and so Newton South stays alive, down by 10. Cole Borner trying to keep the Lions' hopes alive, and a little bit of miscommunication there on the Milford side of the floor will give Borner another serve. Gomes gets there first. Now Guerra from the near side. And that one a little too long. A little bit of a minor protest there from Guerra, maybe hoping for a deflection call, but did not appear to be one. And so Newton South able to fight off a couple of set points here. But it will come to an end at 25-16. Pretty dominant opening set for the Scarlet Hawks. They take an early 1-0 lead. Quick pause as they change sides of the floor. We'll start the second set in just a moment. Stay with the coverage here on Milford TV. Second set about to get started here in Milford. The Scarlet Hawks with an early 1-0 lead. And before we get started with the action here in the second set, on behalf of everyone at Milford TV, just want to take a moment and express our deeply heartfelt condolences to the Callahan family on the passing of Amy Callahan back on April the 20th. Of course, Amy, the mom to Owen Callahan here on the Milford varsity roster. Also Jack Callahan, who graduated here from Milford High School last spring. Losing their mom after a battle with an illness, just an absolute tragedy. It was very shocking here in the community, and so certainly very difficult times. And we just wish all the best to the family going through just a very, very difficult time. And so with that, we'll try to switch gears back to getting into the action here in the second set, as Milford has the 1-0 edge on Newton South. The Lions claiming the first point here in the second set, working quickly as second set action gets underway. Alex Guerra, who really shined in that first set, delivering a return for Milford, and now return shot appeared to drift long, but a violation on the Milford side gives the Lions the point. Able to get one of those points back, and now on serve once again is Arthur Gomes, who really helped deliver Milford a formidable lead in the first set. It's a very sharp service game. A little miscommunication, a new libero out on the floor for Milford in Alex Doiron. For tweaking personnel here. Ayala now in the black jersey for the second set. He is out there on the floor as well, as Milford grabs a point. Joey Newman back out onto the floor. And the serve now for Doiron. That one too strong. Lions will hang on to a 4-2 lead. Start to look at some of the remaining schedule for the Scarlet Hawks here. Starting to get down to the final days of this always fast-flying spring sports season. A little bit of an easier return there from Guerra. Lions able to get it back across. And now the touch at the net. Milford loses the point. Now a 5-2 lead growing here in the early stages for Newton South. In total, 4 matches remain on the regular season. For the Scarlet Hawks after they wrap up play today. And as I mentioned, a lot of home cooking at the end of the schedule. They played a home game back on Friday against O'Brien, which started off a stretch of 6 consecutive home games to close out the regular season. We'll have one more game covered here on Milford TV, and that will be a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, May 23rd, in a matchup that we always try to fit in if we possibly can here on Milford TV with boys volleyball, and that is Milford versus Natick. A fun rivalry that we have really enjoyed covering in years past. It's always been a good one. The same holds true this season, so that'll come your way next Tuesday. That'll be our final regular season coverage of the boys volleyball team. Meanwhile, focusing in on the live action here, as it's been a much better start to the set for Newton South here in the second. As that time the return for Guerra went wide over the near sideline to give the Lions an early 8-3 lead. Milford now with struggles here in the early going, able to grab that point. Guerra now will take over on serve. Nice play by Russell Lee to dig that serve out. Here's Gomes now from the near side, and that is blocked. Isaac Chan with good elevation there to get the block. Serve now for Michael Kakavaitis. Here's Newman. Nice quick reactions for Kakavaitis there. He was able, drifting away from the net, to get that ball back across. Ultimately, Milford takes the point. Milford now trailing 9-5. Diving play for Guerra. And Milford floats that ball back across. Excellent play by Alex Guerra. Fearless going into the headlong dive towards the net. Kept that ball in the air just long enough for Milford to fight a return back across that caught Newton South by surprise. Lions able to answer right back with a point, so Milford not able to find their groove yet here in the second set. They trail it by 4. Serve now for Isaac Chan. He gets the go-ahead from the official. Guerra, Callahan, and then a spike for Ryan Franklin. See Franklin effective up at the net front. Jimmy Ayala with the serve now for the Hawks. Doiron with the play in the back. Gomes a return, too much. Lions holding on to a lead, trailing by a set. Callahan trying to flip that ball over with his back to the net. Nicely done on the near sideline for Guerra to keep that ball inside the antenna. Now a diving return, and Guerra has been everywhere all at once through these early sets. Milford committing the violation, ending one of the longer rallies that we've seen so far. Newton South, as we mentioned, operating out of the Dual County League. It's the second Dual County League opponent we've seen here on our coverage this season, Cambridge Ringen Latin being the other. Newton South currently in 5th place in those Dual County League standings there. 2 games under 500 overall on the year, a game under 500 in league play. It is Acton Boxborough who leads the way in that league with an overall record of 12-1. Sharp return that time on the near side for Gomes. And Milford with some work to do, down by 5. The bench trying to lead a little bit of change of energy in this building. It has been a very quiet gym for this varsity game. Seems to be more of a lively atmosphere for the sub-varsity games, but right now, just a smattering of fans, not much of a student section for this one this evening. And meanwhile, a hard shot executed by Zachary Weiss that looked like it caught Alex Doiron up high. So Newton South giving Milford a bit of a taste of their own medicine after Alex Guerra had some hard returns that had to be absorbed by the Lions libero. The Lions have made some adjustments to neutralize Alex Guerra a bit in the second set. Right now, Zachary Weiss a factor up at the net front. Good height. Guerra that time a little bit more lift to that return, able to tuck it inside that far back corner. Kill for the Hawks to make it a 15-9 score, so trailing by 6 here, needing to go on a run. They won't get it here as Doiron's serve goes into the net. A quick side out for the Lions. Russell Lee now will serve. Diving dig for Gomes. Back to Guerra. Guerra gets the deflection. Milford able to get a couple of points back, still trailing 16-10. Now for Weiss. Milford able to get the block. Newman and Guerra got a little tangled up after, but they're able to reset. Violation this time on the Newton South side. That inches Milford a little bit closer. Owen Callahan now will serve. Now setting it up for Guerra on the near side. Swatted right back across. As that front row for Newton South continues to play well here in set 2. Coach Mainini trying to let the team play through the second set, trying to figure things out, but starting to run low on time. That ball scrapes the rafters, but Newton South stays with it. Now it's Newman. He was set up for a clean return, but drove it too far past the back line. And Newton South now is 7 points away from leveling this match. Ball touching the ground, so that will go as a kill for Guerra. No real panic out on the floor for Milford. See Coach Mainini calmly trying to make some adjustments. Set up from the left, and that was blocked. Joey Newman with another block. Bit of a scramble here for Newton South. They're going to run out of touches. As Milford cuts the deficit down to 4. That ball out, but deflected off the front row. So the deficit is 5, 19-14. Michael Kakavaitis will serve for the Lions. Doiron all the way to the net. Good quick hands for Derek Fawung for Milford. Guerra comes forward with the fingertips. Now Newman slaps it towards the middle of the floor. Good play off the net by Cole Borner. Now it's Guerra, and Guerra able to beat the double team in front of him. Second time in this second set that we've seen the official on the elevated platform call Owen Callahan over to dispense some information. Newman now serving for the Hawks. And again, Milford gets the block. That time it was Fawong and Franklin getting it done. Milford able to cut it to a 3-point deficit. And that return long, and now all of a sudden, Newton South getting a little bit tight. Another serve here for Newman, and it's deflected off the hands of Kakavaitis. And Milford, from a 6-point deficit, has it down to just 1. They're now right back in the second set. Pushed to the left, and that looked a little wonky on the Newton South side, but then they pulled out a quality return. Milford could not get to it. Pushes the Lions to the 20-point mark. Puts it back to a 2-point lead, and a pretty looking play there that ends with a kill for Ryan Franklin. Another chance for Milford to tie with Ayala on serve. Skimming the net with that serve. Guerra with the dig. Gomes with the return. And a good scramble. All the way to the net. So Newton South on top now 21-19. A couple of times Milford's had a chance to tie. They haven't been able to get it done yet. Now Gomes, hard return. That is met by Russell Lee. Another rally whistle to a halt. A violation called by the official down low. So now Newton South 3 points away, and Coach Mainini now going to call a timeout. It's the first timeout either side has called in this match so far. So it comes with Newton South on top here 22-19. Milford fought their way back in, but they haven't been able to pull it back to even, and now trailing by 3. Newton South, after this game today, will face a tough schedule moving forward. They've got a couple of their dual county league rivals coming up, including 2 games against Lincoln Sudbury. Lincoln Sudbury having a tougher season this year. That's a school we typically see in tournament play in boys volleyball, but they find themselves 2 games under 500, but also a match against division leading Acton Boxborough in there. And then also a matchup on the road against the Natick Redhawks. Play them a couple of days before Milford does next week, so tricky schedule ahead for the Lions. Now out of the timeout, Gomes with a dive. Milford trying to make the play at the net. They're called for a double hit. So it's back to a 4-point deficit, and the Lions right on the doorstep of a second set victory. And Milford trying again to catch Ryan Franklin in midair. They weren't able to execute it this time, but Franklin able to adjust his body to at least get that ball back across, and it pays off as Milford gets the point. Milford has the player they want behind the service line right now, and Gomes, especially in these late set situations, you can't put Milford on the run to tie up the set. Instead, set points now coming up for the Lions. Sam Welch on serve. Sends it wide to the far sideline. Adjustments on the floor for Milford as they will face another set point on their serve. That serve coming from Vinnie Colinetti. And Newman leads the way for the block. Can Milford save another set point? Guerra eventually able to get the return. Now set up on the far side for Newton South. It's delivered long. 3 set points saved for the Scarlet Hawks. They'll have to save another. Not intimidated in these situations. Another serve from Colinetti. By Russell Lee. And now blocked by Newman. And Milford now as pumped up as they have been as they save 4 consecutive set points. They tie this match at 24, and now Newton South calls the timeout. There's just something about these set point situations where when Milford's back is up against the wall, they can sometimes play their best. So still more work to do in the set, but now all of a sudden tied up at 24. No stats available for Milford posted anywhere online. We did have a chance to look at some of the stats on the Newton South side. Zachary Weiss, the kills leader for the Lions at 71. I think it's pretty safe to assume that Alex Guerra is your kills leader for Milford as he was a season ago. So tied up at 24 now out of the timeout. Another serve coming up for Vinnie Colinetti, but this time it goes into the net. And so after all that work, Milford will have to fight off another set point. Now down 25-24, and skimming through some of the box scores from the season so far for Milford. They've played a lot of these sets that have gone beyond the 25 points. Doing it again here, hoping to play deeper as they get the deflection off the Guerra return to knot it up at 25. And it's now Owen Callahan. Milford, meanwhile, trying to get a substitution in, and the officials are not going to let it happen. Coach Mainini trying to explain the situation, but to no avail, so Milford's personnel stays the same. And now a point for Newton South, and frustration now for Coach Mainini, now getting the substitution he wants a point later. And Milford, they've fought off 5 set points in this set. They'll have to make it 6. Set up for Guerra. And the hard ricochet off the lights and still in play. Now Milford scrambling at the net. Guerra slaps it towards the back. And now pushed down point goes to Milford on an adventurous series. One of the lights up on the roof still shaking after taking hard contact, but Milford fights off their 6th set point, and that's going to push us into another timeout. We'll take a quick pause here. A lot of drama here late in this second set, tied at 26 here on Milford TV. Tied up at 26. Getting some bonus time in here in this second set after Milford cruised to an opening set win 25-16, but it has been a battle here in the second. Alex Guerra serving again for the Hawks. Dug out by Doiron. Now here's Guerra over the middle. It's met by Weiss. Now to a knee, Guerra digs it out. Gomes will get a chance at a return, but that is into the net. And here comes the 7th set point opportunity for the Newton South Lions. And how many escapes does Milford have in them here in this second set? Guerra keeping communication up. Gomes with a return, and he's able to sneak that in as it ping-ponged at the net front. And we're tied up at 27. Milford has saved 7 set points. They have not had a set point of their own. Here's Gomes. Nice reaction for Newman. Now Callahan will cautiously send that one back across. Now Callahan, another diving play. Guerra 2 hands across. Will flip over the middle for Newton South. Now Guerra. Now drop down by Franklin. Another diving play, and finally Milford will take it. Too many touches on the Newton South side as neither team was willing to yield on that point. Some excellent plays on both sides. And so finally Milford will have a set point chance on the serve of Newman. And Milford with just 1 set point, it's all they need as they will pull out this set 29-27. What an adventurous second set. Milford saves 7 set points. They get 1 of their own, and they're able to take care of business, and they take a stranglehold on this match now, up 2-0. We'll start set number 3 in just a moment. Stay with the coverage here of Milford High School Boys Volleyball on Milford TV. Well, the Hawks have had a bit of a flair for the dramatic this season, in particular when we've been here in coverage. It's the second match in our coverage this season where we've had a chance to see Milford take a set from the brink and ultimately come away with a win. 7 set points fought off in that second set. Finally gained a set point of their own to shut things down in the second set. So a 2-0 lead now for the Hawks as action gets underway here in the third. Rally ends on a held ball on the Newton South side. South came out with all the momentum in that second set. They took an early 8-3 lead. They held the lead for virtually the entire set right up until the end, but just couldn't finish it off. Got a nice block at the net front that time from Weiss. Callahan setting it up for Franklin. Deflected around the front. Franklin gets right back into the play and spikes it down. Heads to the sideline, replaced by Joey Newman, who always brings his own flair to the court whenever he comes out. It's been one of the hallmarks of this Milford program. We've always seen this team with a lot of players that play with great emotion, that the rest of the team really feeds into. You think back to the last couple of years with a player like Valdir Aragoso, who was so fiery on the court, really got his teammates to play to their best. Jack Callahan as well, another player that played with a tremendous amount of emotion out on the court. And now, despite a lot of changes on the varsity roster this season, still seeing a lot of that emotion that can really fuel this team to get into a good groove. Owen Callahan now with the serve. And a hard return goes flying out of play from Weiss. Milford able to take a 4-3 lead here, hoping to shut this match down in 3 sets. Guerra again with some quick reflexes to keep play alive. Milford gets the point. Overall, it's been a good run through the middle and late portions of this season for the Scarlet Hawks. They had a 6-match winning streak that unfortunately came to an end back on May 10th with a 3-set sweep road loss to St. John's Prep, but they were able to get right back on track with that win against O'Brien to close out last week. And now looking to start another winning streak. If they can close out this match here this evening. Of a matchup with the Taunton Tigers later on this week. And then 1 week to go in the regular season that will feature matches against North Quincy, Natick, and Needham next week. So some tough opponents on the schedule to close out the season for Milford as they prepare for another run in the MIAA tournament. That ball deflecting hard off of the hand of Arthur Gomes and out of play, and so that's going to knot things up here at 5. Weiss now serving for the Lions. And there is Guerra, pinpoint accuracy yet again. He will take over on serve. Not yielding at the net front. Now a return that goes over that front row and over the back line as well. Milford able to jump on top here, 7-5. Substitution coming in now for the Lions. Serve now from Michael Kakavaitis. And that time, a thunderous return for Zachary Weiss. Junior gets the kill, ties the set back up. Now back to Joey Newman. Met by Russell Lee. And then a collision. Guerra trying to save that ball. It deflected off of his fingertips, and then a teammate came charging in from behind and took him out. Everyone looking to be fine after just a little bit of a scare. Tied up again now at 8. Block up front for Newton South. Now a quick swat for Arthur Gomes. Meanwhile, Milford looking for a spike up front. Call not going their way. Newton South able to take a lead. And now bodies flying over towards the near sideline for Newton South. Milford gets the point. Milford getting called for a violation. A brief service game for Colinetti. It was Vinny's work on serve that really fueled that comeback for Milford in the second set. Now on serve to the near side, and a little bit of an awkward release there for Weiss. That ball seemed to travel across the net front, did not go over. So a quick swing of momentum here gives Milford the lead back at 11-10. To the back. Milford continues to get sucked in close to the net. They've been able to scramble and make some adjustments. But other times they haven't, including that play a few moments ago where it got caught in a bit of a collision. With a 2-point edge right now at 12-10. Callahan faking the set, but Newton South able to adjust, and they get the kill. Milford winning the opening set 25-16. from behind to win the second set 29-27 in a marathon second set. Now they lead here in the third, 13-11. Not quite as many three-set sweep victories this season for Milford as we've seen in seasons past, including their years in the Tri-Valley League, where it seemed as though the division schedule was just oftentimes a mismatch. Another tough scramble there moments ago for the Scarlet Hawks, again with players struggling to get back deep. To a 1-point lead. Milford off of a tricky deflection off of Gomes' hands, able to save it. The point in the end for the Lions. Tying this third set up at 13. Here's Guerra. Slams it into the front row for the kill. Keeps the Hawks in front. Now set up over the middle. That was close, but ruled long. Callahan serving, Milford up 15-13. Ball taking a high arcing trajectory back over the net, and then Milford caught looking. That brings Coach Mainini right over to the sideline for some words in between plays. Now Newman pushes to the back. Now driven back across from the far side by Newton South. They get the kill and they tie this third set up at 15. Guerra with some incredible hang time to just wait for that ball to come down up at the top of the net. Now takes over on serve with Milford up by a point. Callahan pushing to Gomes. Milford in some trouble. Gomes stays calm. And eventually Newman with the block and with a quality celebration after the fact. That even drew some smiles from the coaches on the sidelines. Milford up now 17-15. Callahan goes to the floor, keeps that ball alive. Now Doiron, Callahan, and eventually Guerra brings an end to the point. Gets the deflection, pushes Milford now ahead by 3. 7 points away from a match victory. Substitutions on the Newton South side of the floor before Guerra's serve. Doiron with a nice dig. Callahan over to the sideline, but whiffed on the chance to send that ball back towards the middle. Callahan to Newman. Now Guerra pushes. Gomes a quick reaction. Gomes again towards the middle of the floor. It's Russell Lee this time with quick hands. And now Milford, excellent court vision there, finding a wide open spot and exploiting it. The Hawks get the kill, pull ahead 19-16. Now Joey Newman. Over the middle, Ryan Franklin says, not this time. And Milford up to 20 points now, 5 away from the match. Newman calls for it. Where a soft lob back across. Twice the underhand return. Play whistle dead. The point for the Lions to try to stay close. Down by 3, down 2 sets to none. The serve now for the senior Isaac Chan. He sends it wide to the far sideline. Milford a quick side out. Vinny Colinetti back out onto the floor, the 6'3" junior. Doiron able to get to that, but Milford spread a bit too thin. Milford lead cut back down to 3. Looks like Cole Warner will be the server now for the Lions. Set up over the middle for Guerra. All the way across now for Arthur Gomes. Quality kill for Arthur. And he will step behind the service line. This team in need of just 3 more points to shut things down in this match. We're vying for win number 11 on the season. And Newton South electing to call the timeout. And so we'll take a quick pause here on the broadcast. Late stages of this third set, Milford vying for the sweep. We'll see if they can finish it off next here on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout, Milford up 22-18. Gomes serving for the Hawks. And that ball delivered past the back line by Franklin. Scrambling towards the far sideline. Guerra will underhand it back across. Now with authority, drives it towards the near sideline, but it is out. a diving play by Lee. Callahan pushes towards the back. And another whistle. Too many touches on the Milford side, and what a quick turnaround out of the timeout. Milford's lead erased. Now it's a 21, or I beg your pardon, it is a 22-22 tie. Newton South operating quickly. That's more like it for Guerra. Puts it inside the near sideline this time. Pushes Milford back in front, 23-22, but Newton South really fighting here in the late stages of the set. And a hard blast. I believe that was Weiss with the kill to tie it up now at 23. So we'll see which team emerges from this next point with a chance to play for the set. Before we do, this time we'll get a Milford timeout. So maybe the Hawks taking their foot off the accelerator a little bit here, thinking they had this set in hand, and a quick response from the Lions out of the timeout has knotted things up, made things a little more adventurous. We saw Milford steal the second set after trailing for the majority of the way. Now Newton South trying to give Milford a taste of their own medicine. Teams continue to talk things over. Last bits of daylight fading from the windows here in the gym, making lighting a little bit tricky, the mix of the natural light and the gym light. So apologize for things being just a little bit dark on the live coverage. It's a 23-23 tie here in the third set. A serve on the Newton South side for Russell Lee. Guerra ends up with a chance at the return. He gets the kill off a deflection, and so Milford will have one match point coming up here. It'll come on the serve of Owen Callahan. Lee with a dive. Weiss from the far side. Now Callahan all the way to the net. Lions able to fight it off. Now Weiss on serve. And Newman trying for the block, but this time Newton South was ready, and there was no one back deep for Milford, and now a set point chance for the Lions, and we'll get another timeout on the floor. So a flurry of timeouts here as we get another wild finish to a set. Just moments ago, it felt like Milford was on cruise control here to finish out this third set, but that is not the case. They had one match point, they couldn't convert, and now a little bit of a run once again here for the Lions has given them a chance to see a set point on the other side of this timeout. Coach Mainini a little bit more animated as he talks things over with the team. More subdued over on the Newton South sideline. As both sides now retake the court. Set point chance here for the Lions, up 25-24. So again, a long set. Weiss with the serve. Callahan sets it up for Guerra. A scramble at the net front, and again, Milford not back deep. The deflection goes out of play, And it is Newton South who steals the third set 26-25. And so we will move on to a fourth set. It is now Milford with a 2-1 advantage, and we'll have more volleyball for you after this quick break. Stay with us here on Milford TV. Well, credit to the Newton South Lions. They had their backs firmly up against the wall in that third set after a demoralizing loss in the second. They were able to come back. Milford had a 3-point lead with just 2 points left to get to close down the match. They had a single match point. But Newton South kept on fighting. Earned a gritty 26-24. Third set victory, so we play on to the fourth. We'll see what kind of energy Milford comes out with after losing out on an opportunity for a sweep. Setting up Franklin cleanly midair, but again, Newton South has the answer. Here's Gomes now. Can't get it past the front row. Now Guerra, and he finds a bare spot on the floor in the back corner. Extended rally to start this fourth set. Arthur Gomes serving for the Hawks. Ayala meets that return in the back. Now, Guerra's return blocked. It's been a struggle for Newton South recently. They are losers of 4 out of their past 6. Most recently suffered a loss at Lincoln Sudbury, a 3-set sweep loss. Their last victory came back on May 10th on the road at Westford Academy. They haven't won consecutive games since they won 3 in a row from April 24th to 28th. Showing some tenacity here in the Milford gym tonight. Milford still with a 2-1 advantage, and Alex Guerra with a kill to give Milford an early 3-1 lead. Jimmy Ayala serving, once again wearing the libero jersey. Milford with a block. That ball floated to the far sideline. It is out just wide. Push to the near side. Hard return for Zachary Weiss. He gets the kill. Immediately takes over on serve with Milford leading 4-2. Beg your pardon, it will be Russell Lee who takes over on serve after Weiss retrieved the loose ball. That one dug out by Lee, but it drifted over towards the far sideline and out. Have the officials scrambling to get out of the way. A 5-2 lead now for Milford, with Owen Callahan now serving. Weiss having to adjust. Gets the return across. Guerra's return met by Levin Brenner. Can Guerra save this one? Yes, he can. Now Callahan for Guerra, and that is out on the far sideline. Another long rally. That was another rally where we saw Milford in tight at the net, and it almost cost them. Turn for Milford out, and the lead shrinks to just 1. Like Milford called for a held ball that time, and so tied up now at 5. A service error for Weiss ends the Lincoln, I beg your pardon, the Newton South run. Guerra serving now for the Hawks. Ayala, Callahan, Gomes getting it back across. Deflected by Newman. We're rolling it across the net. A lot of movement at the net. And that ball sails long by Adrian Cerquera, getting an opportunity to play here in the 4th set as Coach Mainini starts to extend the rotation a bit. Serve now from Kakavaitis. Awkward bounces up front. South ultimately called for the double hit. Milford back on top. Newman behind the service line. All the way to the net. Franklin was there waiting. And perhaps a little too eager. Reaching over the net, drawing the whistle. Cerqueira with another chance. And again pushes it wide. The first set proving to be the outlier in this match. Milford had no drama in that first set, able to cruise to a 25-16 win. But the rest of this match has been played in very close margins. South was able to carry a lead through a lot of that second set before Milford came back. The third set was relatively close. Milford stayed in front until the end, and then it was a Newton South comeback that stole the outcome. Now, a series of ties and lead changes through the early points of this fourth set. Vinny Colinetti returns to the floor. On serve for the Hawks. Nice block by Franklin. Now punched across by Weiss. Callahan, the setup for Arthur Gomes, but point goes for the Lions. And we're knotted up now at 9. Again, Milford continues to go to that play with Franklin in front. When it's been executed cleanly, it's been effective, but there have been some moments like that where the timing has been off, and it's been tough for Franklin to adjust. So now Newton South with the 1-point advantage. And Weiss dropping that one on the line. No, they'll say it was a deflection. Now timeout called on the floor with Newton South in front 11-9. We'll take another quick pause on the broadcast. We'll be back with more in just a moment here on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout. Momentum continuing to swing in Newton South's favor. Seems to be the more relaxed team out on the floor right now. Milford trying to change that as Franklin gets set up for the kill. Just a 1-point deficit now for Milford. Gomes serving. Now the Lions get the deflection to stay in front. Some celebrating in the Milford crowd during that timeout as Jacob Lagore had come in from finishing up the varsity boys lacrosse game, and from the sounds and reactions from some of the students and fans here in the gym, sounds like congratulations are in order. The 100th point of the career for Jacob Lagore secured in the boys lacrosse game today, so we certainly congratulate Jake. A little bit of breaking news from the other spring sports teams here as this volleyball match continues. It's a 13-11 Lions lead. Guerra gets a hard deflection in the front. And now Newman with an off-speed swat towards the back, and now a deflection off the Milford front row and out. And the Hawks seem to be searching for answers here in this fourth set. Again, the Hawks had a match point opportunity in the third set, but they could not convert, and now in a real battle in this fourth set, and all of a sudden Coach Coffeen now calling a timeout. And freezing his own team's momentum. Not often that you see the coach of the team in front call a timeout. And so this will give us an opportunity to give you a heads up on the remainder of our scheduled spring sports coverage here. We're in the penultimate week of the spring sports regular season. We'll have one more game coming up later on this week. We'll be back out on the softball field as Milford matches up with another one of their very, very tough Kelly Rex Division rivals in the Taunton Tigers on Thursday, May 18th. We'll have that coverage live streaming starting at 3:45. And then we'll be back here in the gym for volleyball coverage against Natick next Tuesday, May 23rd, with an expected start time around 5:15, and then we'll close out the regular season with baseball coverage as we'll try again to get the baseball team's matchup with Mansfield in, hopefully rain-free this time, as we'll see that game restarted. Of course, memorable. We attempted to get that coverage in back on May 26th, but Mother Nature intervened about 3 innings in. Meanwhile, a 15-11 lead for the Lions. You can make it 15-12 after a hard deflection on a return by Alex Guerra. Owen Callahan now serving for Milford. Long run for Gomes. I'll say it was a held ball. Good effort for Arthur as he dove. A lot of traffic on that far side, but Milford was able to fight through. They get the kill, trailing now by 3. Now a tough deflection off the hands of Ian Brenner. Milford cuts it to a 2-point deficit. And the way these sets have gone in the last few, having the lead at this stage of the game is not necessarily the best thing. Last 2 sets have been come from behind victories. Nicely executed kill there by Zachary Weiss to push the Newton South lead back up to 3. Now a hard deflection. Milford helped out a bit by the basketball hoop, bringing that ball back towards the middle of the court. And now the return for Newton South delivered long, so remember that sequence. Ball looked like it was deflecting off towards the stands, but the basketball hoop brought it back towards the middle, kept Milford in the points. Now Block up front for the Hawks. Gomes and Callahan back to Gomes, and Gomes will get the deflection out of play. It's down to a 1-point deficit now for the Hawks. Serve back to Joey Newman. A service error for Newman, who again wears the emotions on his sleeve. That keeps the lead on the Newton South side. Right on target there, Callahan to Franklin for the spike. And another opportunity for the Hawks to tie it up. Milford again brings Vinny Colinetti out onto the floor to take over on serve. Pushed beyond the back line on the return by Brenner. And so Milford knots it up at 18. Quick scramble for Newton South. Almost catches Milford off guard. Hawks get the return, now pelted out towards the Milford bench by Weiss. Milford will wrestle the lead back now at 19-18. No lead safe. Quick hands for Colinetti. Pushed back across for Franklin, but called the violation. Even again now at 19. Ori Suter now serving for the Newton South Lions. Battles back and forth at the net front. Franklin with the decisive blow. Milford again in front by a point. Softly returned this time by Zachary Weiss. Gomes all the way to the front, and Milford late to react. Tied at 20. Another set coming right down to the wire. Serve for Brenner. And they'll say, looks like they'll call a rotation violation for the Hawks. Milford protesting. Now it's Guerra over to discuss with the official. So the call stands. Newton South now with a 21-20 lead. Sam Welch with the serve for the Lions. Guerra able to beat Weiss at the top of the net to tie things back up at 21. Cautious return for the Lions. Callahan now setting it up for Guerra, who got it right back and couldn't handle it. Newton South with a 1-point lead, 3 points away from forcing this match to a decisive fifth set. Guerra able to get a critical kill for the Hawks. Tied up at 22. To the far sideline, and that was out. Newton South wisely let it drop. As the lead again swings back into Newton South's favor. Callahan setting it up for Guerra. His return blocked. Milford keeps it alive and now pushed to the near side and out. And now set points for Newton South, up 24-22. It has been just a workmanlike effort for the Lions. This game very nearly ending in a 3-set sweep for Milford. And Newton South extending it to this 4th set, and now with a couple of chances to push it to a deciding 5th set. Really have to admire what Newton South has been able to do, and for Milford, they just have not been able to get themselves into a groove really since losing out on that match point chance. Let a great opportunity slip away in the last set, and Newton South has had the upper hand in the majority of this 4th set. Milford's kept it close, but they haven't really been able to go on a run. They haven't been able to steal momentum, and now Newton South retakes the floor with a couple of set point chances. They'll have Zachary Weiss, the junior, on serve. It's met by Guerra. And now play at the net. What's the call? They'll rule it in Milford's favor. So 1 set point saved. And now Alex Guerra goes down to a knee. Callahan, a nice play, swatted back across from the middle. And now sprawling play, Gomes keeps it alive. Guerra, the easy return. And now the block in front by Newman. Two set points saved for the Hawks, and now another timeout called for. So perhaps Milford had them just where they wanted them. It's once again in these set point struggles that Milford is able to find another gear. They've now saved a total of 9 set points overall in this match. 7 of them in the second set. Now back-to-back set points saved here to knot it up at 24. And again, we'll see extended time here for the 3rd set in a row. This game rapidly approaching the 2-hour mark. It'll be Guerra on serve, out of the timeout. Guerra ready to go. Push to the far side, and Milford with a bad time for a lack of communication on the back. Ayala and Guerra caught looking at one another, and we'll see another Newton South set point. This time on the serve of Michael Kakavaitis. And a service error allows Milford to escape a third set point. Tied again now at 25. Newman now serving, and he drops that inside the back line for an ace. As this time it's the Lions who are lulled to sleep. And so Milford will have their second match point opportunity tonight. Joey Newman on serve. This ball just floats back across the net. Here's Gomes. Now two-handed across. And here is Franklin with the spike to end it for the Hawks. 27-25. They pull out this fourth set. They fight off 3 set points to finally give themselves redemption at match point, and this time they take care of business. And so the Scarlet Hawks are able to escape, winning this match by a final margin of 3-1. And so Milford earns their 11th victory of the season. It wasn't pretty, but effective nonetheless for the Hawks. And so again, with the victory, Milford improves to 11-4 overall on the season, and with the loss, Newton South falls to 5-8. So again, we'll have one more regular season boys volleyball match on the docket. That comes your way next Tuesday against the Natick Redhawks, a great rivalry matchup. But before then, we'll have more softball coverage for you coming up later this week as Milford takes on the Taunton Tigers. We hope you will join us for that coverage. Again, coming up on Thursday, May 18th, with the coverage live streaming here on YouTube. But that will wrap things up here for tonight. Again, a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the coverage, Patrick Garapi and Tim Zalewski, and I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford is able to outlast Newton South 3-1. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.